Thank you for joining us today for this episode of Digging Deep, an OK81 podcast. My name is MG Govia. I'm the Education Outreach Liaison here at OK81 and today's host. This month, we are doing a series of OK811 interviews with our staff. The first one was published last week, and that was Susan, our Executive Director. And today, you get to see a conversation between me and my boss. Hopefully it goes as well as they always do. We're going to be talking a lot about OK81, kind of what we do when it comes to education outreach, where this podcast came from, what we're doing to provide education and damage prevention throughout the state of Oklahoma. So I'm really excited about this. Angie, do you want to tell us a little bit about your career in 811 and here at OK81?
Sure. So I actually got into the industry many years ago out in Maryland. I started there, was a CSR and a supervisor, and then life changed and just brought me here to Oklahoma. So I really did like the industry and reached out and ended up landing a role as a CSR here at OK811. Back then it was called Oki. And I worked in the contact center, and then shortly after I started, I was promoted to a supervisor position in the northeast part of the state. We had a satellite office out there, and I worked out there overseeing the operations in that facility for about 8 to 10 years, I think. And then again, life changes, had a couple kids, moved back to Oklahoma City, and was still a supervisor in the contact center, and then just had an opportunity. I'd gone back to school and earned my degree in human resources, and there was just an opportunity to move into a role in human resources and business administration here. And so I took that on, and one of the areas of the organization that was also placed under my purview was the education and outreach. So I had to learn a lot about the damage prevention and the education piece of things. So yeah, that's a little bit about my career here, and I have been with the organization for 16 years, so I went through that in about 16 seconds. So, but it definitely has been quite a ride, and I'm so honored and thrilled to be a part of this organization.
Awesome. Yeah, it's really interesting to look back on both of our careers, because I've been here about half the time you have. But just in the last 8 years, I've seen an evolution, not only with my career path, but also just OK81 as a whole. We've rebranded, we've changed up some things. Do you want to talk about the evolution that you've seen as well? And then we'll kind of focus in on education and outreach.
Okay, well, I mean, it definitely has been, like you said, it's been through our leadership has definitely evolved over the years. The building we're in has evolved over the years, thankfully. We did have satellite offices, which we no longer have satellite offices, but we still are continuing to grow our at-home base with employees working remotely. So that's been exciting. The technology has just completely exploded, especially over the past 3 or 4 years. We've really grown and have become very secure with our technology that we have, with the information that we keep and how we keep it and so forth. So that's been exciting to see. The programs that we use, and from the phone system to GeoCall to the mobile apps, I mean, just so many things technology-wise have really grown as well. Organizationally, we have our number of employees has fluctuated a little bit. We did get up to 70 employees at one point. However, we are currently down to 63. So that's fluctuated a little bit, but nothing too drastic.
Awesome. And sneak preview for our listeners. The next guest is going to be Gerald, and he's our Director of Operations, and that's where we're really going to get to talk about the evolution of technology and our employees and all that good stuff. So we're going to have fun today talking about my job and my boss's job, but we'll definitely talk about the technology and operation type stuff in the next podcast. So stay tuned for that as well. So go ahead.
Yeah, just going to go ahead and go into the evolution of E&O. So back several years ago, it was damage prevention, and we did have a team that would go out into the field on a regular basis and have meetings and meet with the public and everything. That was very beneficial and everything. However, it also required a lot of windshield time. And, you know, with three people on staff that did that, and the number of people that we were able to connect with just really wasn't matching. So, you know, we needed a better use of the resources that we have. And Susan actually saw this need, and, you know, things like technology was just evolving, and a lot more people were constantly on their cell phones and really tapping into, you know, education online. I mean, 95% of my degree I earned online through university. So that really has become over the years just a way for people to be educated, get the information that they need, rather than having to go to a specified location at a specified time in order to get that training. And so part of the vision at that time was to get into webinars and to start, you know, having some content out there that people could log into. We could do it at a certain time of day, but then we'd also have the recordings that people could, you know, watch on demand. And so that was really important, especially again, just with the evolution of times and technology and the busyness of people. I mean, I think especially up through 2019, everybody was just constantly on the go. So that was a lot of our focus. So we came up with the idea of doing these webinars, and I think you coined the term Webinar Wednesday, and we started putting out a webinar every Wednesday. And safe digging is definitely a very important topic. However, it's a very finite topic. So we got to where we were having a little bit of struggle with coming up with content without just re-saying the same things. And so even with the online platform, it's kind of evolved to where it's a lot more bite-sized, that we're not trying to force this hour-long presentation. We're trying to get the information you need, but if you know, you can go and listen to everything and get a whole picture of all the different aspects of safe digging. And so that's been exciting to see the evolution of, you know, even since we've gone to this virtual platform. Now, we started that, if I'm not mistaken, we launched our first webinar in 2018.
Yep.
I think it was August of 2018.
Yes, it was.
And so, you know, I mean, of course, at that time, I don't think anybody on this planet had any idea of how prevalent the webinars were going to be. Sometimes, Susan and I often joke about needing a crystal ball, and sometimes I wonder if she has one. I mean, some of the things, the way she's navigated this, and, you know, just trying to be prepared and stuff has really helped us be prepared for everything that we've endured. So, by the time that 2020 hit, we did have this huge understanding of webinars, how to put them together, what kind of content, the size, how to advertise them. So there's all these things that were already playing in our favor that we were able to take that. So that's just the webinar piece. And, we've done the virtual webinar, the virtual safety days, the virtual expo 2 years in a row now. So we've really just been able to take this idea to get in front of more people at our fingertips, and actually it became such a huge asset to this organization. So that's just that piece. And then, the podcast, again, just trying to think of ways that people can get out there and so forth. So I remember, just kind of brainstorming, and I think you've mentioned it on here before that my husband does podcasting and stuff. And, I'm thinking about these guys that are out in their truck all day, out in the fields, and, the ones that are on backhoes and stuff. My dad, he used to work for the county road department up in Kansas. We won't hold that against him. But, he was always talking about listening to podcasts or different radio shows and stuff like that. So I know it's something that these guys that are out in the field, they absorb that way. And so, I remember I threw it at you, and you're just kind of like, okay,
Yeah.
So there was quite a bit of hesitancy, and I think I kind of had to, prod it along a little bit, but that's okay. You've made it happen, and it's turned out to be pretty huge success in my opinion. So I think that it's been a good add to our toolkit to have these podcasts, and the collaboration that we're getting and everything has just been tremendous. We could not do a lot of the webinars and podcasts and events and other stuff that we've been able to do for all the years in the past, but specifically these last few years without our partners. Our damage prevention partners have definitely been such a great resource for us to email or give them a phone call and say, hey, you want to help us with this podcast? Or, hey, we got an idea about this podcast or a webinar or something, to get them on board. And, we haven't had very many rejections, and usually it's just a scheduling conflict, never a, no, I'm not doing that.
Right.
So that just, goes to show that, we're doing great things here at Okie 811, and people want to be a part of that. And that's so exciting for me. I mean, when I think of, the history of Okie 811 and stuff, I can remember sitting in on strategic planning sessions and wanting to be where we're at now, where people, when you say call Okie, they're not looking at you like you have four heads or you're speaking a foreign language, or they think you're a fishing lure. They're looking at you. Oh, okay, yeah, call. Oh, I know what you are. So, I mean that it's become, we're getting a really cool reputation. It's awesome to be a part of that.
Absolutely, and your guidance in this whole podcast thing. When we first started, like you said, took some prodding, and then I go and read some stuff, and then Stephen, who he is a great asset to the education outreach team. He's the one who makes us look good, is what I always say.
Absolutely.
And our first ever podcast, Stephen and I are kind of writing down a script, trying to figure it out, and it was two robots talking about digging. And so if you ever go back to that one, I'm sorry that that's still on the internet. But we've gotten better. Like you said, the collaboration with our damage prevention partners have been tremendous. Having those topics are just a little bit like one-off. Yeah, we want to protect everything that's underground, and we want our workers to be safe. They're out there digging, of course. But maybe we can talk about that one-off. Like, let's talk about workplace safety and stuff like that, or record keeping and all these other things that we've kind of brought in to help all employees in the industry. So it's been really fun doing that, and also just learning about different companies' damage prevention programs and stuff like that. So big shout out to all of our damage prevention partners who've either been a guest or gave us topics, or however they've assisted in collaboration throughout all of this. So yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to shout out to Stephen too for his editing abilities. I mean, fortunately, these are not live. They are recorded, and then he takes all the giggles and the off-topic trails and, curates them and stuff. So thank you, Stephen. We appreciate you. But yeah, he definitely does take and make us look good, because I know that I've only done a few of these, but I definitely have a tendency to get a little nervous and sometimes get the giggles and so forth. So. But yeah, it is what it is.
Yeah. So one more time, Stephen, thank you once again. So we've talked about kind of your career path, the history of Okie 811, as well as E&O, and where we came from with the beginning of using technology. What's coming up? Like hey boss, what do you have me doing next?
Well, I mean, like, first of all, the past 18 months have just been so hard. We have definitely made it through this time very successfully. I mean, like I said, it's just been phenomenal, the preparation that we've had in place before we even knew we were going to need it for this. But, it's also been exhausting and challenging and so forth to get out there and get in front of people and so forth. So first of all, I am excited about getting back in person to some degree. One of the things I think we established back in 2019, maybe even 2020, was the travel requirements to basically ensure that the education impact that we were going to have was going to be met with the number, because it's a utilization of resources. So we wanted to make sure that it was basically bang for the buck. So that's going to continue, but I am looking forward to those opportunities to join other organizations like OGA and oh my goodness, Oklahoma Safety Council and ORWA, all of the other organizations that we've partnered with in the past to get in front of their audiences and so forth, just to give them some, good reminders about safe excavation and so forth. But we're going to continue on this path that we're on as well. We're looking forward to continuing to develop and curate our content with our damage prevention partners, and just continuing to see this path continue that we're on with the virtual settings as well as the in-person offerings. Again, I know we've got our 2022 Expo planned and it is on schedule. We will be having that at Embassy Suites in Norman, so I'm excited for that. We're going to have a Safety Days coming up in October in Lawton. That's going to be pretty great. Again, thanks to our damage prevention partners there in Lawton. So yeah, we got a lot coming back into play for right now. I'll also go ahead, of course, right now it is August, and so we have launched a beer. It's been an interesting marketing and educational opportunity that's just kind of been super exciting to work on, from, selecting the beer to Stephen designing the can and all that's been, entailed. Definitely not something we ever thought we'd be doing at Okie 811, but, we're just getting the message out. Hey, call before you dig. And once you're done with your project, just drink responsibly on this nice Pilsner. So
yeah, I'm excited about that beer campaign, the beer campaign that we're doing.
Nice.
Stephen did a great job with the label. We worked with some partners to have a beer brewed. This is going to be released in August, so the beer will be available. So go to our website and find out locations that you can buy it in the Oklahoma City metro area, and promote safe digging in the state by enjoying a beverage after a safe project. So it's a great opportunity for you.
The other thing, in regards to the evolution and the future of E&O, we did also the certification program, to where you can actually be Okie 811 certified, that you understand safe digging practices. So, lack of ignorance is never, what's the phrase I'm looking for? Ignorance of law is not excuse, or something like that. So if you don't know, then, if you're still liable for those damages. But yeah, so you need to know about these safe digging practices. And if you're certified, you can rest assured that at least you have the tools in your toolkit to be acting in a safe, responsible manner when it comes to excavation. So we're looking forward to continuing to develop that and make it even more user-friendly. We're working with Damage Prevention Academy and kind of breaking that down into bite-sized chunks or sections, and kind of helping just, again, have that pocket information. We also have in September, just next month, we have our state fair, and it is happening again this year. And I am super excited about that. I'm looking forward to having huge crowds again. And I think everybody's going to really be excited to be there. So we'll have a booth at the fair for sure. We're working on developing some swag at this point to see what we're going to have out there. So come check us out.
Yeah, and listeners, if you are with one of our member companies, or someone who just loves promoting damage prevention and safe digging, and looking for an opportunity to go to the fair and help us out, shoot me an email, education@okie811.org, and if we have spots available, we'd love to plug you in. So just let us know if you would like to volunteer to help out with that.
Yeah, that's a good point. It's quite an undertaking, making sure we have that booth manned all the time, and making sure that we have, people there that can, provide a little bit of snippets of what Okie 811 is, what it does. We're not a radio station.
Right.
And so, just being able to hand out those swags and stuff. So yeah, definitely good point, MG.
I try, boss. I try. Another thing that a lot of people may not know about Okie 811. You mentioned earlier that we're down to 62 employees, or 63?
Yes.
63. Whoever the number one person is, I apologize for forgetting. Yeah. But yeah, we have 63 employees. And with that, it means our leadership gets to wear quite a few hats. And one of the things that my boss also gets to do is handle HR. And so a lot of things that we look at for our company culture, or everything that is so exciting about this. She has her hands in, and I want to first say thank you because I love the culture up here. I wouldn't be here for 8 years if I didn't, right? And so I appreciate that. But let's talk about Oki's culture and what it's like working for this organization. And like, for instance, one stat we were talking about before we started recording is the average longevity of our employees. So let's start with that and kind of build from there.
Okay, yeah. So we do have a lot of tenured employees, which is really exciting. We do have 3 that just started not too long ago, but the average tenure of our employees is just over 9 years, almost 10 years. So, I mean, that's with 63 employees, that's pretty significant. We have one employee that's been here for 33 years, I believe. Several in there that have been here for 20, 28 years, something like that. Like I said, I've been here for 16 years and, so it definitely is an organization that, a lot of times we use the term family. We consider each other as family. Some families may not like that term, but I definitely mean it from a point of endearment. We genuinely care about one another. We have such a great time with each other. There's just a lot. I love coming to work every day. It's an opportunity to basically see my friends. We come in and, we have a good time. We do crisp high fives, as Gerald likes to say. And, we just smile at each other and give each other a hard time once in a while. And, as HR, I don't get any complaints. So we know the boundaries and we're also able to, we get work done. That's really the key. The people in this organization are truly vested in the success of this organization. And you don't see that from the top to the bottom very often. And I feel that way across the board, that everybody is excited for our successes. And, it's not just one department's success, but, as a leadership team, we really have, tried to emphasize that, yes, we have X number of tickets being processed, but this is because of the work of everybody. Mm-hmm. And, the CSRs are fantastic at, cranking those out and everything, but, which they're the heartbeat of the organization. But these support services that we offer with technology, HR, E&O, member services, taking care of our members, all of that, and we treat each other in such a way that, we all have our roles to play, but without one or the other not doing their role, we wouldn't be as successful as we are. So it's very, that's something that we continue to reiterate and we breathe into our company culture, is the importance of every single individual in this organization. And like I said, the biggest thing is we have a lot of fun. We focus on wellness. That is a huge aspect of our company culture. Tika, she's at our front desk and she does a phenomenal job coming up with monthly health challenges. We invest in our employees in ways that a lot of organizations don't. We have a fitness center here on site. We also have a basketball goal for fun and exercise. Get out there once in a while when it's not too hot or pouring down rain. And then, we have a pool table out on the back patio, but we also focus on mental wellness. We offer tools that allow the employees to be able to take that time to just have a mental health break. It's okay. That's another thing I've just loved in the entire growth of human resources, I think has evolved too, that I've seen in my adulthood. I love being a part of human resources and the impact we're able to have on the human well-being holistically. And then we look at financial wellness. This year, we've partnered with the Dave Ramsey program, Smart Dollar, for our employees to help them get, a little bit of assistance or guidance with controlling their personal finances. Money is such a huge stressor, and, enabling these employees to have this tool at their fingertips to bring them a little bit of confidence in their day-to-day is highly impactful. But the the biggest thing I see in our culture is support. I mean, we truly value one another, and we may not always see eye to eye on different things, but we are able to disagree in a respectful manner, and we all come to the table with an open mind to hear another perspective. And sometimes, we have great conversation, but I think by the time a decision is made, I think everybody's really good with the decisions. So
yeah, along that thought process is being heard is always an employee's number one thing. And
absolutely,
something that that OK1 has recently started doing is town hall meetings, which have been tremendous as an opportunity for anybody within the company to have a conversation with leadership and understand what's going on, why it's going on, and how it's going on. And I have to give kudos for that program as well. And being heard and being able to be a part of the success, even in decision making in some ways, is tremendous. Not every company will let the newest hire have a voice right from the beginning. So that's something that I admire and respect as well. And I'm going to call you out. I'm kind of sad that one of the things you did not mention.
I was getting there.
As the fantasy football commissioner.
Oh, okay. I wasn't there.
As the fantasy football commissioner, we were going on year 6 of a fantasy football league. I've yet to win it. I'm going to hopefully win it this year.
I think my name's on the trophy still, unless somebody peeled it off.
I may have thought about it, but I haven't pulled it off yet. But yeah, there's tons of stuff that we do to incorporate everyone. That we do have a lot of people who work from home, and just little things like that. We always do March Madness and fantasy football, and just trying, yes, we want everybody to have health and mental and financial wellness. That all makes sense, but the fun stuff, it's there too. And
absolutely, yeah. And the social sports we've done in the past. Of course, we weren't able to do those the last couple years, but due to COVID. But I look forward to bringing those opportunities back too. I mean, we did volleyball and bowling, and as organizational teams and stuff through OSO. So that was a lot of fun too. And then of course we can't forget Friday breakfast. I mean, it's not very often you find an organization that actually will cook breakfast or bring it in, but most of the people that are on the breakfast thing, they like to cook. So there's usually a smorgasbord of goodies for breakfast on Fridays, and it's every Friday. Some companies, they'll do donuts once a month if they're lucky, or something. So that's definitely something that's a huge something on our bottom line, on our budget and so forth, but it definitely is a huge aspect of our company culture. And so that's something that we're, as leadership team, anxious to continue to do as well.
There's definitely a return on that investment, I promise, for anybody who needs to hear that.
Provided in partnership with Damage Prevention Academy, Okie 811's excavator education program is certified by the Gold Shovel Standard. Upon completion of this training, you will be educated in the regulations surrounding excavation in Oklahoma and the best practices for safe digging and damage prevention. Okie 811 certified excavators can rely on this high-quality online training, which specifically incorporates everything they need to know for the prevention of damage to critical buried infrastructure, as well as increased public and workforce safety. The training will take approximately 2 hours to complete. The training is fully responsive, mobile-enabled, and can be completed on a desktop, laptop, tablet, or other mobile device as your schedule allows. The Okie 811 Damage Prevention Certification is a proactive indication of an increased investment in damage prevention to drive safety, reduce damages, and minimize the risks associated with excavating on or around buried assets. Once you have successfully completed the training and exam, you will receive a certificate of achievement, including the Gold Shovel Standard Seal. To get Okie 811 certified, go to okie811.org/excavation certification.
Angie, I love working with you. I'm saying that A, because it was recorded on the internet forever.
Thanks.
B, because you are a tremendous boss. I do appreciate working with you here at OK1, and I thank you so much for being our guest on Digging Deep, our OK1 podcast that we wouldn't even have if it wasn't for your idea in the first place. So before I let you go, is there any overarching thing you want to let our listeners know about OK1?
I was just kind of thinking, just to kind of better define OK811, I really think that this hits home in our value statement and in our mission. Our value statement that was developed by the management team a few years ago is something that really just drives home the point of kind of what I've talked about in regards to the culture, and that's delivering excellence through honesty, integrity, and having a highly engaged workforce in a fun and supportive workplace. And our mission is to provide quality underground damage prevention services. And that includes everything from our technology for the system we use, to the communications that our CSRs put out, to the education that we put out on the E&O team. And it's just been such a tremendous adventure to be a part of this organization, to be a part of this evolution. And I'm so grateful for everybody on my team, everybody in this organization, for my boss, for our board. And, it is such an honor and such a privilege to get to come to this place every day for work.
Awesome. Thank you to our listeners. If you haven't already, please subscribe to our podcast so we can see those numbers. Share this information as well. If you don't know, let me remind you that we have a YouTube channel as well, where you can see Angie's face and how well we did during this podcast, and plenty of other resources that you can share to help people understand safe digging and damage prevention in the state of Oklahoma. So with that, thank you for spending some time with us, and I hope you have a great day. Thank you, everyone.
Bye.